Right now, a cold front is slamming into Tasmania, and within 72 hours, parts of Queensland could be drowning under 150 millimetres of rain in a single day. If you live anywhere in Australia, the next 7 days are about to get very interesting, and some of you are not ready for what is coming. Now ask yourself this, do you actually know what is heading your way this weekend? Because I can tell you right now, most Australians have no idea what the models are showing. And the models are showing something that demands your attention. Here is what I need you to do. Drop a comment right now with the city or town you are living in, and I will make sure you get the forecast that matters most to you. Because this is not just a generic weather update. Over the next few minutes, I am going to walk you through every single major city, every major region, hour by hour, day by day, so you know exactly when the storms hit, when they peak, and when they finally move on. And stay with me, because at around the 3-minute mark, I am going to reveal which part of Australia is about to cop the most dangerous weather of the entire week. Most people will not see it coming. Let us get straight into it. Right now, as of this Wednesday, a classic cold front is pushing through the southern half of the country. You can see it on the satellite imagery, that unmistakable speckled cloud pattern stretching across the Great Australian Bight and curling into Tasmania. That is the signature of a textbook polar cold front, and it is already delivering thunderstorms and rain to the western slopes and ranges of Tasmania as we speak. But here is the twist. This cold front is not the main event. It is just the opening act. What is building behind it and above it over the next 5 days is significantly more intense. So do not switch off yet. Let me break down what is happening right now, city by city. Tasmania, you are in it. The cold front is crossing you today, Wednesday. Expect thunderstorms, rain and gusty winds, particularly on the western side of the ranges. The heaviest falls are hitting this afternoon and into tonight. Some of those thunderstorm cells are carrying enough energy to produce damaging wind gusts. So if you are out on the west coast, keep an eye on conditions and have a backup plan for outdoor activities. By tomorrow morning, Thursday, the front clears away. You will wake up to southwesterly winds, plenty of showers on the west coast, but the east coast will be mostly dry by lunchtime. Hobart, you should see the back of this system by late Thursday morning. Short-lived event for you. It arrives Wednesday afternoon, peaks Wednesday night, and it is gone by Thursday morning. A quick punch and then it is over. Melbourne, your turn is coming tonight. That same cold front pushes into Victoria by Wednesday evening, roughly around 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Before it arrives, you might actually get a burst of warm to hot conditions through the afternoon, classic prefrontal heat. That is when the northerly winds ahead of the front drag warm air down from inland. Enjoy it while it lasts, because once that change rolls through, you are looking at showers, possibly a few thunderstorms along the coast, and a noticeable temperature drop. If you are heading out to dinner tonight in Melbourne, take a jacket. You will need it on the way home, even if you do not need it on the way there. The rain clears through Thursday morning and shifts eastward. By Thursday afternoon, Melbourne is dry and settled under building high pressure. That high pressure is going to park itself over southern Australia for the weekend, which means dry, stable conditions for you right through Saturday and Sunday. Perfect weekend weather for getting outdoors. Now, Adelaide and South Australia, you are getting clipped by the tail end of this system. Some cloud, a few showers and leftover moisture from what was Tropical Cyclone Mitchell, which is now completely falling apart as an ex-cyclone over southern Western Australia. The remnant moisture is spilling over into your state. Nothing severe, but keep an umbrella handy through Wednesday evening. By Thursday, you are clearing up. And here is the thing about South Australia. Your real weather event is not until Tuesday of next week. I will get to that in a moment because it is a significant one. Do not miss that part. Sydney and New South Wales, you are sitting in the warm air mass ahead of this cold front. Wednesday afternoon is going to be hot. That heat is pumping through the state and up into the Australian Capital Territory. Dry conditions dominate for most of New South Wales through Wednesday and Thursday. But here is where you need to pay attention. By Friday, a convergence zone starts setting up. High pressure is building out near Lord Howe Island in the Tasman Sea, and low pressure is sitting in the Coral Sea and inland over central Queensland. Between those two systems, the air gets squeezed, winds pick up, and thunderstorms start firing. The northeast corner of New South Wales could see up to 100 millimetres of rain over the weekend. That is a serious amount of water. I will come back to exactly when that hits you. Perth and Western Australia, you are under high pressure for most of this week. Dry skies, settled conditions, particularly in the southern half of the state. The remnants of ex-tropical cyclone Mitchell are washing out across the south coast, bringing some residual rain, but nothing to write home about. The Kimberley region up north, that is a different story entirely. Thunderstorms, tropical showers, the usual February activity. But here is what Perth residents need to watch. By Monday of next week, a cooler southerly change is going to push through the southwest corner, just south of Bunbury. If you are around Margaret River or anywhere on that southwest coast, Monday morning is going to feel noticeably cooler than the days before it. That polar boundary drops right across your region. All right, now here is the part I told you to wait for, the most dangerous weather setup of the entire week. And it belongs to Queensland. Starting Friday, a massive convergence zone sets up over southeast and central Queensland. Low pressure in the Coral Sea, low pressure inland, and high pressure building in the Tasman Sea to the south. That pressure gradient is going to squeeze the atmosphere and trigger severe thunderstorms. On Friday alone, some areas in southeast and central Queensland could see 80 millimetres in 24 hours, and that is just the beginning. By Saturday, the models are showing rainfall totals of 150 millimetres in 24 hours across parts of Queensland. Let me say that again, 150 millimetres in a single day. To put that in perspective, that is roughly what some parts of inland Queensland normally receive in an entire month, falling in just one day. That is enough to cause flash flooding, road closures, creek and river rises, and genuine disruption to daily life. If you are on a rural property, think about your stock routes and low-lying paddocks now, not on Saturday morning when the water is already moving. Both the European and American weather models are in strong agreement on this. When two independent global models line up this closely, you pay attention. Some areas across inland and southeast Queensland could accumulate over 200 millimetres across the full week. That is extraordinary. The storms peak on Saturday, but they do not stop there. And this is the part that a lot of people along the New South Wales border need to hear. On Sunday, severe thunderstorms continue across northern New South Wales and southern Queensland. Some of those storm cells that form over inland Queensland on Saturday are going to track southward and drop into New South Wales overnight and into Sunday. If you are in towns like Moree, Tamworth, Armidale, or anywhere along that northern tablelands region, Sunday is your day to watch. High pressure around Tasmania and low pressure over the Coral Sea create persistent easterly winds that feed moisture into the coast. Those easterlies turn into northerlies and northeasterlies as they funnel down into southern New South Wales, the Australian Capital Territory, and into Victoria. So even though the populated southern cities stay mostly dry, the northern half of New South Wales is very much in the firing line. Do not let the dry weather in Sydney fool you into thinking the whole state is fine. It is not. Brisbane and southeast Queensland, here is your timeline. Friday afternoon, storms begin building. Friday night into Saturday, the heaviest rainfall arrives. Saturday is the peak danger day with 150 millimetres possible in 24 hours. Sunday, storms continue but start easing in the south. Monday, drier skies finally return to southern Queensland as the tropical low drifts towards New Caledonia. That is your window, Friday afternoon through Sunday night. 3 days of potentially severe weather. Make sure your gutters are clear, your stormwater drains are free, and you have got a plan if your area is prone to flooding. Now, for the Northern Tropics, the Northern Territory and the Kimberley, this is your standard February fare. Thunderstorms, tropical showers, monsoon moisture, nothing unusual but still worth respecting. The top end will see consistent activity all week. Here is the twist for next week that a lot of people are going to miss. Tuesday of next week, South Australia gets caught between two air masses. Hot northerly winds are going to push down from the interior straight into Adelaide. At the same time, a southerly change is approaching from the west coast ahead of the next high pressure system. So you are going to have a day where Adelaide is baking in hot northerlies, while the western side of coastal South Australia is already getting the cool change. This kind of setup can produce a very sharp temperature drop, sometimes 15 to 20 degrees Celsius in a matter of hours. If you are in Adelaide or regional South Australia, Tuesday is the day to watch. And for the eastern states on Tuesday, those northerly winds mean warm to hot conditions. Even though the cooler change is not far away on the map, the wind direction coming from the interior means you could still be looking at a scorcher. Do not be fooled by the approaching front. Until it actually crosses your location, the heat stays. Let me recap the key dates and what to watch. Wednesday, today, cold front hits Tasmania and pushes into Victoria by evening. Melbourne gets rain and showers tonight. Thursday, front clears the southeast. Most of southern Australia dries out. High pressure builds. Friday, severe thunderstorms begin building in southeast and central Queensland. 80 millimetres possible in 24 hours. Northern New South Wales starts to see activity. Saturday, the peak, 150 millimetres possible in parts of Queensland. Flash flooding risk elevated. Severe thunderstorms tracking south into New South Wales. Sunday, storms continue across northern New South Wales and southern Queensland. Southern capitals remain dry under high pressure. Monday, cooler southerly change hits southwest Western Australia. Perth and Margaret River feel the difference. Queensland storms begin easing in the south. Tuesday, South Australia caught between hot northerlies and an incoming cool change. Sharp temperature contrast. Eastern states stay warm to hot under northerly flow. Now, one more thing before I go. Both the European and the American forecast models are showing over 200 millimetres of accumulated rainfall for parts of Queensland over the next 7 days. When both major global models agree to this degree, the confidence level is high. This is not a maybe situation. Rain is coming to Queensland, and it is coming in serious quantities. If you are in any of the affected areas, now is the time to prepare, not when the water is already rising. Check your property drainage. Know your local flood maps. Have a plan for your family and your animals. Charge your devices in case of power outages. Make sure you have got torches and batteries accessible. And if you are in a flood-prone area, know your evacuation routes before you need them. This is not about panic. This is about being sensible and getting ahead of what the atmosphere is about to throw at you. I also want to mention something for anyone travelling this weekend. If you are planning a road trip through inland Queensland or northern New South Wales between Friday and Sunday, check road conditions before you leave and keep checking them along the way. 80 to 150 millimetres of rain turns dirt roads into mud traps and can send water across sealed roads faster than you expect. Do not drive through flood water. It is not worth the risk, ever. And remember, drop a comment below with your city or town. I read every single one, and I will make sure to cover your area in more detail in the next update. If you found this useful, share it with someone who lives in one of these affected areas. They might not have seen this yet, and a heads up now could make all the difference for them over the weekend. Now, here is why you absolutely need to come back tomorrow. That tropical low currently sitting in the Coral Sea, it is on the move. Where it tracks over the next 48 hours is going to determine whether Queensland S rain totals stay at 200 millimetres or push even higher. Some of the longer range modelling is hinting at totals that could approach 250 millimetres in localised areas if that low stalls or curves back towards the coast. And there is a secondary system developing further out in the Indian Ocean that the models are just starting to pick up. I'm not going to say more than that right now because it is too early and I do not want to speculate until the data firms up. But if it develops the way one of the models is suggesting, next week could get even more interesting for parts of the country that think they are in the clear right now. That is tomorrow S Update. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss it. And again, comment your location below. I want to hear from you. Stay safe out there, Australia. I will